Greetings from my tub. I'm in here getting 5% cash back when I pay in full with PayPal. No fees, no interest. Make the most of your money this holiday with PayPal. Save the offer in the app.
Ends 12/31. See paypal.com/promo terms. Points can be redeemed for cash and more. Pay in for subject to terms and approval. PayPal link at NMLS 910457.
Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of Yokohama tires. Go to TireRack.com to see their Yokohama test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Hey, welcome into Walgreens.
Hi there.
Hey.
All right, hon, I'll grab the gift wrap, cards, and, those stuffed animals the girls want.
Great. And I'll grab the string lights and some... How about I grab some cough drops?
This is not just a quick trip to Walgreens.
I'm fine, honey.
Well, just in case. You know what they say. 'Tis the season.
This is help staying healthy through the holidays. Walgreens.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Spin, Shuffle, Skip on the There Can Only Be One podcast channel. We are continuing our actor albums run from actors gracing the silver screen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we have an interesting one for this week. We're talking about Anywhere I Lay My Head, released by the one and only Black Widow herself, Scarlett Johansson. And here to go down this road, Lyle Rauschel's back on the show, man. Lyle, how you doing?
I am doing just great, Jason. I'm glad that you're tickling the comic book part of my brain instead of the wrestling part of my brain for a change. But you want to talk about unexpected? Here we are with this album.
All right. So over the years, you have repeatedly brought up the fact that I, in my infinite power, made you watch In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege tale.
Why are you bringing that up, Jason? I thought we were friends.
Is this the album version of In the Name of the King for you?
It might be. It very well might be. It's nowhere close to Dungeon Siege because I said I got viscerally angry watching that movie to the point where it was almost the only thing you've given me for any of these podcasts that I didn't finish. But I didn't get that bad with this because it's just an album. But man alive, did I ever, of all the Avengers albums we're going to cover, I had the highest hopes for ScarJo. Because like we've said, Sing is a good movie. She can sing. However, when she did her own, it sounded like she was trying to be a very discounted version of her Aurora or a Scandinavian singer or something. I don't know what happened here. I really don't.
Well, I mean, this isn't In the Name of the King for me. A, because I didn't mind that film. But B, I had to listen to Metallica's Lulu album, which may very well be the worst album I've ever heard in my entire life.
Okay, we're not going to get into this because you're going to need a bonus episode if we get into that conversation. Lulu is not as bad as this. Come on. Lulu's bad, but the worst album you've ever heard?
Lulu is the worst album I have ever heard. No. Actually, there was an album I had to cover for Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, and it was mostly drone music.
Okay, yeah. I might like the drone music better than this, but Lulu's
No, you won't.
But Lulu's not the worst album I've ever heard, but let me tell you, this one's probably in my top 10.
All right, so let's set up the listeners for what we're about to talk about. We are talking about Scarlett Johansson's Anywhere I Lay My Head, released May 16th, 2008. So this is actually before she became the Black Widow. The album hit number 126 on the Billboard 200. It's number 15 in Switzerland and number 9 on the Australian Heatseekers charts. There was one single off of this one, Falling Down, hit number 70 in Switzerland and number 23 in Belgium. Keep in mind, there was only one original song on this album, that song being Song for Joe. Everything else is either written or co-written by Tom Waits. So in essence, this is actually Scarlett Johansson doing a Tom Waits tribute album. Should be noted, David Bowie actually appears on two of the songs, Falling Down and Fannin Street. I wish there was a video podcast because the look on Lyle's face is one for the ages.
Wait, this is a Tom Waits album.
Yes.
With support from David Bowie, and it's still this bad.
Yes, it is.
My gasps are flabbered. I did not know that those people were involved in this.
Keep in mind, the songs from Tom Waits are from his quote unquote Barfly era. So this is like his 70s album stuff.
It's still Tom Waits. It's not what the songs are. It's the fact that Tom Waits had his hands on this, didn't listen to the masters, and was like, I can't have my name on this.
No, this is basically Scarlett Johansson doing a Tom Waits tribute album.
I am floored by this. This gives me a whole new spin on this entire thing. Because when I listened to it, I definitely didn't hear, oh, Tom Waits. That's not what my first thought was. Most definitely, this is a Tom Waits album.
I mean, there's something to be said too about the style that this is done in. And I say that because it was big in Switzerland and it's big in Belgium. I was getting so many vibes, kind of like what the band Air did for the Virgin Suicide soundtrack.
Yeah, it's really funny that it was huge. That was big in Europe. It charted in European places because that's what I immediately thought of was artists like Aurora and like the kind of Scandinavian female singers that come out of that part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
There is like a very, I don't know what not guttural is not the word, an angelic feel to it. Like It's very like, and there's a lot of that in this. So that's what my immediate thought was. Certainly not what's he building in there. Tom Waits.
No. It's a very ethereal take on Tom Waits.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, Lau, I'm going to toss this over to you. I'm going to let you get us started with your spin pick.
My spin pick was just the best cover because it's a great song. I Don't Want to Grow Up. Easy. Super easy to pick this. Right out of the gate. Hits the vibe. Was the one I could stomach the easiest and not be like, what is she talking about? What's happening? So it's that. It's I Don't Want to Grow Up.
We are having a very, very interesting episode today because I Don't Want to Grow Up is my skip pick.
You can't tell me all of these songs on this album are better than I Don't Grow Up. Jason.
Here's the thing with the song I Don't Want to Grow Up. And this isn't against what Scarlett Johansson did. Sometimes an artist comes out and does a cover song and the song becomes better than the original that it was. I Don't Want to Grow Up by Tom Waits is a good song, but in my head, it's a Ramones song.
Yeah, I suppose. I see where you're coming from there.
You know, and right now, anyone listening is like mentally shuffling through their like CD spin rack in their head going, well, what songs like Alien Ant Farm? They wrote Smooth Criminal. Michael Jackson's is just a cover.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the better covers of all time, probably.
Okay. Bad Guy from Billie Eilish. No. It's an Interrupter song. To me, I Don't Want to Grow Up is a Ramones song. I get that they were keeping in the vibe of what they were doing with this disc, but I cannot hear this song and not hear the Ramones. It's just, that's the way my brain is wired for this song.
Which makes sense. See, I'm not a huge Ramones guy, so I think that's what it is. I know the song is a Ramones song. When I heard it, I was like, thank God. Something I know that makes sense and doesn't sound like somebody, wrote it under heavy, heavy anesthesia.
I think that's why whenever we get to, and we kind of talked about this during the Def Leppard episode, is that when you get to a band that puts out a covers album, an album of songs that they loved growing up and they're going to do their own version. And those are fun albums to do. I always found myself drawn to songs I had never heard of before, mainly because I wasn't anchored.
You don't have a baseline.
Exactly. I don't have a preconceived notion of how the song is supposed to sound. I Don't Want to Grow Up is the only song on this disc that I knew what a version of should sound like. Thank you, Ramones, but also to Tom Waits. So already my brain is anchored to that version, and maybe that's, that's not necessarily the right musical mind frame to go into an album like this, knowing that it is a tribute album. But when you know the song and you're familiar with the song in a certain form, it's hard to disassociate it.
See, this is something where we differ because I kind of love cover albums for the opposite reason. I love, I'll use a really good example. Santana, back in the 2010s, released an album called Guitar Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
where it was him and various other big names from the industry covering some of the songs he would consider to be some of the best guitar songs out there. So you had like Fortunate Son with Scott Sapp. You had Back in Black with Nas. Like it was very, very interesting. And I went into it like, this is awesome, because all of these takes are probably going to be so far from the original. I wonder which one of these is going to be the best. I kind of like going into it of, I know that song, what can you do with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brave choice to pick a song that's so well known, right? Because then you are going to fall into those comparison traps. And in some cases, they walk out and it's like, okay, we just owned this. And in other cases, you're left sitting there scratching your head going, Like,
yeah.
I love Queensryche. Queensryche is one of my favorite bands of all time. Their Take Cover album, which is, again, just a covers album, has some fantastic takes on songs and ones where I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, what was the thought process here? Same with Guitar Heaven. There's some ones that really hit. The cover of Can't You Hear Me Knockin' better than the originals. It is the version. I dare say the Scott Sapp version, and you know how big of a CCR guy I am. We did a whole episode on it. Their version of Fortunate Son, Scott Sapp and Santana, that's a contender. That's up there. And that's one of the most like public domain songs you can get.
Don't start talking public domain on a podcast where the sister podcast has already covered things like, the Mickey Mouse horror films and the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey.
Yeah, I was there. I was there for both of those, Jason. You don't gotta remind me.
I just like to stoke the memories a little bit.
Yeah, you already mentioned Dungeon Siege, so I'm having flashbacks.
For my spin pick, I'm going with one that really kind of lent itself, as far as production wise, to Scarlett Johansson's voice. I Wish I Was in New Orleans. And aside from like the really cool lullaby tiny piano sound that added something more surreal and dreamlike to this, one of the things I found on this album is that when Scarlett Johansson was going lower with her vocals, I found it wasn't sitting well with me musically. The minute she brought her voice up almost like an octave, right? Not too high, but more in her register. And it's like, this is where the good stuff is. And yeah. I Wish I Was in New Orleans felt almost tailor picked for Scarlett Johansson's really decent singing voice.
I went into this after I was over and I cleared my head of all this. My immediate thought was, you know who she should do a tribute album with? An Amy Winehouse tribute album sung by Scarlett Johansson would probably hit.
I could see that.
As she does have that higher octave sound to her. I think that would be more in her wheelhouse than stuff like this.
I could absolutely very easily see that, and that being really good. I mean, Amy Winehouse, fantastic singer, obviously.
Oh my God. I have her vinyl is one of the most played ones in my rotation, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, like, even when we were talking about the Jeremy Renner Medicine EP just 2 weeks ago, there was my skip pick on Ghosts and Roses, where it just felt like Renner needed to jump into a falsetto for a certain section because it almost sounded like it was starting to get outside of his vocal range, right? Here, ScarJo has found the perfect range for her, like the sweet spot. Every singer has that note that the minute they hit it, it feels like home and you can carry that note for days.
Yeah, it's like in Guitar Hero. You hit the line, you see it going back, you're like, I got that. That's perfect. And it's true. You can see flashes of it. But again, when you say like you think her voice would be better up a couple of octaves, it's a crazy thing you pick a Tom Waits collaboration to do, because you talk about a man that's got one of the lowest voices ever in music.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if Scarlett Johansson came out and did like a Tori Amos tribute album, oh my God, it would. Even this production would fit that kind of vibe.
Yeah, 100%.
But I say all this knowing that even when I sing live, and I just do backups, because trust me, no one needs to hear me sing, lead on anything. But when I do backups, I find I have more control over my voice in mid to falsetto range as opposed to trying to keep it too low.
See, I have the opposite problem. Whenever I sing or do my campfire versions of things, because I am less of a lead singer than you, it's always going to be Johnny Cash or something. My voice is naturally low, and I know that. I'm never going to hit a Steven Tyler note. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, yes, do I live in falsetto? Sure, okay. But I know where my comfort level is. And this song felt like it was in ScarJo's comfort level.
That makes sense.
For my shuffle pick, I'm going with No One Knows I'm Gone. Here's where the production really lends itself again to ScarJo's voice. The production is cinematic. It's kind of like this weird, if you can actually picture this, steampunk ethereal vibe.
Cinematic is certainly a word for it, yes.
But again, this is where Scarlett Johansson is in that more comfortable vocal range for her. I think that's what you see here in the songs, where it's like when ScarJo hits here, it's good. If she's down here, it's not resting so well. The middle of the album is where the good meat is on this disc.
Yeah, I would say that too, that most of the good stuff is toward the middle, and the tail and opening end of it are very much questionable at best.
All right, so all my picks are gone. So now you get to lead us out of here. So let's start with your shuffle pick.
So my shuffle pick, I did not know David Bowie was on this song, but it's Fannin Street. Because I said, this feels like whatever she was going for with this whole thing, this is the best example of that. I could see what the vision was, and if the vision hit at any point during this, that wasn't just, oh, that's Ramones, I like that. It was with Fannin Street. It's nice, it's cinematic, it's ethereal, just like you said, all the words you've used are kind of hitting the nail right on the head, and I think if you're going to tie it up in a nice little bow, this would be the one that kind of exemplifies the whole package the best, I guess.
One of the things I liked about what David Bowie did with this is that his backup harmonies and whatnot didn't scream, oh yeah, you can tell it's Bowie right away.
I didn't know it was Bowie till you said it.
Yeah. You take a listen to some songs, like Somebody's Watching Me from Rockwell. You know it's Michael Jackson doing that backup line. Or even Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone by Glass Tiger. You damn well know that's Bryan Adams singing that catchy line, right? Or Sting on Money for Nothing by the Dire Straits. You know it's them.
Yeah, you can just hear it. It's part and parcel with their vibe kind of thing.
David Bowie's voice complements ScarJo, though. Like, Fannin Street was actually on my short list for shuffle songs. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
And it's because of just the harmonies between Bowie and ScarJo on this.
Yeah, no, I think this one's very solid, and that's why I had to put it in shuffle. It didn't immediately catch my attention. Like, I don't want to grow up like, oh, this is a good one. I know this one. But definitely for what she was kicking at, this is probably the best version of it on this album.
Well, especially the fact that the entire album is an ethereal vibe. If you like the French duo Air, again, this is the group that did the soundtrack for the Virgin Suicides, this is going to be the kind of music that you're into.
Very out there. Experimental doesn't even cover it, especially with her, career trajectory up to this point. This is a big swing. Mm-hmm. That's what I wrote down in my notes too. For her at the time, like if you look at her filmography, this is a big swing.
And I'm not saying that it worked. I'm not saying that it didn't work, but we get to cover it nevertheless.
I'm going to say it was a foul ball. That's the way I'll put it. Big swing, foul ball.
Fair. All right. Take us home. What's your skip pick?
My skip pick has the most simplistic set of notes under it I've ever written, I think. Town with no cheer. What the LOL, canteen was no longer necessary. That's because that line just took, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I've never listened to a song and been so lyrically confused as to what was going on. Like halfway through the song, I was like, I can't follow this. I feel like I'm reading a George R.R. Martin book and I have to go start at the beginning of the chapter and digest this all over again.
Keep in mind that, yes, this is a Tom Waits song from the Swordfish Trombones album.
That tracks because he writes a lot of songs and I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about, but man, he sounds good talking about it. But it was like, I wasn't sold on the sound and also what is happening.
Well, also coming in off the 2.5-minute intro of Fawn, which was from the Alice album, and it kind of feels like it was designed to be the same, kind of lead into the other. And at one point I'm sitting there, and this is before I knew it was a Tom Waits tribute album. I'm just like, is she making like some weird dream-like concept album? Because I could get behind that if that's what it was supposed to be.
See, that's what I thought it was up until you said that it was a Tom Waits thing. I was fully just like, this was her being super artistic and is like, let's just see what we can put out there and if people will listen to it, kind of thing.
Well, we listened to it. We made our picks.
Absolutely.
All right, Lyle, remind our listeners what your spin, shuffle, and skip picks are from Anywhere I Lay My Head, the Tom Waits tribute album by Scarlett Johansson.
I Don't Want to Grow Up was my spin. My shuffle was Fannin Street, and my skip was No Longer Necessary, just like the canteen. It was Town with No Cheer.
All right. My spin was I Wish I Was in New Orleans. My shuffle was No One Knows I'm Gone. And my skip was your spin, I Don't Want to Grow Up, because it's a Ramones song. I'm sorry, but it is. Lyle, thank you so much for this. Now, please let our listeners know what you're up to and where they can find you out there on the interwebs.
You can find me on Instagram at LyleR11, and I'm a producer for TNA Impact and Anthem Sports Entertainment, so watch your TNA every Thursday night.
All right. Dear listeners, we are still smack dab in the middle of our Avengers albums rundown. So in 2 weeks' time, come back, and we're going to have some very iron songs to listen to. But until that time, you guys know the drill. If there's an album that you want us to cover on Spin, Shuffle, Skip, or an artist that you want us to cover on, there can only be one. Hit us up on social media at OnlyOneCast or go to our website, notthatbadcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe to the website, because when we get to the end of the year, Grading on a Curve returns with the worst films of 2025.
Yay.
Until next time, he's Lyle, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Spin, Shuffle, Skip on the There Can Only Be One podcast channel and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.